Hey, what's up everybody? It's Richie here, and today we're going to be doing something just a little bit different. Today I'm going to be showing you how I make thumbnails for my YouTube videos, and what makes a good thumbnail, what makes a thumbnail that will essentially get clicks. And the cool thing about this is that basically everything I'm doing with free software. This is paint.net, I'll link it in the description, and it's basically a completely free photo editor. Now for this video, it would be nice if you have some basic understanding of photo editing, but I am going to go pretty slowly and talk about everything I'm doing. Now this right here is the template for our Richie's World videos. We have a picture on the base layer. We have this little ice piece right here, which is just a corner of my design. And we have two pieces of text, the episode and the number. And all I really do when I'm making the thumbnails for Richie's World anyway, is switch out the photo and the number every time. And if you do have a series, I would really recommend making a template for it and saving it, because essentially in a series you want all of the pictures to be recognizable, and you want them to all look the same. So if someone sees this thumbnail, I want them to be able to think, yeah, that's Richie's World. That's a Richie's World video, because it has the blue ice, the episode, and the number are in the same place every time. And we actually do a few more stylistic things that make it look the same, that are a little bit less subtle. So, let's just open our image really quick, because we're going to be making the thumbnail for tomorrow's video. So I'm just going to my Minecraft screenshots. It might take a second. Alright, scroll. I have a bunch of pictures. I've been doing some stuff, but we want a picture of our base. Alright, so we're going to go open up the photo, copy it, and then go to our bottom layer and just paste it right there. And that's going to be the basis for our thumbnail, obviously, but we are going to do something to it that I find makes a bad photo, or even a good photo, look a lot better on YouTube, which is add a little vignette right here. Let's bring that to 70. And what that's doing, you can see it better if I turn it all the way up, is it's creating a circle around the center of our image. If we wanted to, we could move it around, but what I like to do is if I have an image with focus in it that's centered around a point, I like to set up something like this, because blackening out the edges just a little bit naturally draws attention to the inside of our picture. And on something like YouTube, where we have tons and tons of thumbnails, it is pretty important to have things like this, things that automatically center your attention on the middle of the photo. And it is really important for your videos to make a good and interesting thumbnail. This isn't always true, but for most of the time, you want a main object in the center that stands out, that is clearly recognizable, and you want your whole thumbnail to be bold. Don't put any small text on it. You want to make the text pop a little. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. But you want everything in your thumbnail to be big and easily readable. If you shrink this photo down to like this size, and you can't tell what it says and what's in the picture, then you probably did it wrong. That you want something that's very, very bold and very obvious. So moving on from there, we're just going to put our numbers in here. Do not ever use the default fonts. I like to use Adobe Gothic, but you might not have that. This comes with, any Adobe program you get will have all of this bundled into it. We're going to move the text size up to 400 so that it's nice and big. And I made this on the wrong layer. We're going to create a new layer for this. Put the text down. This is going to be episode 69, and we're going to make that white. Just sort of center it over our default number and delete the layer. Now you probably see the problem right here. This looks incredibly flat. It just looks like someone took Photoshop or Paint.net, which I'm using, and slapped the text over it. So to make it pop, we're actually going to copy this selection right here, add a new layer, and then paste a selection right here. Grab a paint bucket and just slap that stuff down. And then we're going to go into effects, blurs, and we're actually going to blur this black number a ton. We're gonna give it 60 blur. And then, okay, that looks weird, right? But if we move this layer underneath our other one, our text now stands out. So it not only makes the text look good and stand out, but if we were, say, having this text over a white background, we would be able to read it because we actually have black sort of highlighting it and surrounding it in a subtle way. And believe it or not, guys, that is our entire thumbnail. We're just going to export that as a JPEG because YouTube does not like big file sizes. You actually can't have a YouTube thumbnail over 2 megabytes. And if for some reason it is, all you have to do is bring the quality down to like 99, and you can see our file drops in size ridiculously. I do usually upload my thumbnails in 1080p. I think that's what YouTube recommends you to do. But frankly, I've uploaded in 720p before, and it doesn't really seem to make that much of a difference. Okay, so we've talked about making sure everything in your thumbnails is clearly defined, making sure the text doesn't look flat, adding a vignette if you want more attention centered on, well, the center of the image. But what if you want to add text over your thumbnail? We're just going to mess around here. And basically, YouTube titles and thumbnails are a game. They can't be too big. They need to be short and concise. So a good thing to do, if you have a title that doesn't make a ton of sense or doesn't say anything or everything you want it to say, add text in your photo or thumbnail, but make sure that text is different from what your title says, and that way you're not repeating yourself, but you get 2 things said. And in terms of text, you should never have basically more than 4 words on a thumbnail. You need big, bold text, and if it has a bunch of words and takes time to read, just stick it in your title or your description. It's not worth it to put on here. And I don't think I'm actually going to post this on my real thumbnail, but as an example, it sort of looks out of place right here. If we do the cool thing again, paste it down, grab our paint bucket, turn our color black, dye all of it, blur it like crazy, and then move it down, you can see it doesn't really fit with our episode and setup, but it does look a lot better. Now, the other important thing in making thumbnails that I find is establishing a style, not across just your videos or just a series, but across your entire channel. For example, in my channel, all of my photos have vignettes on them. All of my font is Adobe Gothic most of the time, and all of it uses that pop in the background I have around the numbers. And the reason for this is because I want everyone to be able to recognize my thumbnails as this. I know some YouTubers, I think Mumbo Jumbo's thumbnails look a little too similar to mine. I mean, he's not copying me. He was around long before me and is far more popular than me. But you want people to be able to recognize your videos. So this video was more talk just about how you build your thumbnails and how you make them and how you make a good thumbnail, a thumbnail that people will be interested in, that clearly showcases what you're doing in the video and will get clicks, which you obviously want. But the important thing to do is once you've got the simple thumbnails down and you feel like they're good, you have to establish a style that is consistent for your channel so that when people see your thumbnails before even reading into the video, they're going to think, yeah, that's whoever's channel, and that is interesting, and they automatically know even what series it is and who's making it. And I hope that helped you guys. I know it was just sort of a weird short video where I just made a thumbnail and talked. You notice in non-series videos where I have a ton of text, like tutorials, usually, I mean, obviously this part is gone, but I'll have an image in the background. Sometimes I'll even blur it, and then I'll take up the entire image with text, like a word right here, 2 words here, and a word right here. Basically, the purpose of a thumbnail is to convey a very simple, very short idea and draw some interest. So don't get too complicated, don't be afraid to be too simple, and start working on whatever style you have for your channel. I know I'm not exactly a famous YouTuber, you know, like this is just me giving some tips and some ideas that I've developed throughout my time on YouTube. So I really hope this helps you. I hope that you learn something, and I hope that what I'm doing is right. I mean, if you think anything in my they're not subtitles. They are not subtitles. In my thumbnails should be changed, then tell me down in the comments. And until the next time, this has been Richie, and I'm out. I'll see ya. P.S. We are trying out, or I am trying out, a new mic setup. So tell me if there are any audio problems, and I'll see you in the next video.